What's up, my 14 fans of the channel? How are you doing? I don't care. No, I actually do though, don't worry. Which is why I'm making a video like this. You have depression. I have depression. Everyone has depression, right? And when you get to your lowest point of depression, you might not even have the energy to take the first steps to even get better. If you feel this way and you feel like you don't even have the energy to take the very first steps, then I really hope you'll listen to me for just a few minutes. I remember being at my lowest of lows, and I remember this feeling of it being impossible to even take the first steps to even start to get better, right? Well, I think I was too ambitious because the steps I was trying to achieve were always just a little bit out of reach. And what I failed to realize was that there are steps before these that I need to complete first before I can actually work towards achieving what I want. So here's the absolute beginner steps that you need to get done before you do anything else. Let's just get started. So here's the first thing I recommend, which is one of the most low effort things I remember doing when I started to get better. If you spend a lot of time looking at a screen and you always have your blinds down, that might be messing with your sleep quite a lot. And as we all know, sleep is one of the key things to even feeling alright. And obviously, if you always have your blinds down, then it's always going to be dark in your room, right? So my point is, your body adjusts to the day and night cycle depending on whether it's dark outside or bright outside. So if you always have your blinds down, then your body doesn't really adjust, and when it gets dark outside, you don't really get as tired as you would if you had your blinds up all day. It might just mean the difference between you getting sleep or not being tired enough to sleep. And on top of this, it's really bad for your eyesight to look at something really bright in a dark room for extended periods of time. So I say, go remove the blinds or take them up or whatever, and just don't think about it again. It might seem annoying at first, especially if you look at a screen and it's bright outside and maybe you don't see as well, but just this little thing will make a massive difference in your sleep, and it'll make you feel so much better if you just get that little more sleep. Anyways, enough about that. Here is something else I really recommend. If you spend a lot of time indoors, either sitting or laying down, and you can just feel your body just not doing so well, then I really understand the struggle. Something you can do to make your body feel a little better, and thus maybe feeling a little better mentally, is just every time you're done doing something, or every 30 minutes, or whatever you please, just get up and do a few stretches. It might just be every time you go to the bathroom or every time you go get something to drink. Just do a few stretches, and trust me, it'll make all the difference in the world. If you can, then maybe even do a few push-ups or a few burpees or sit-ups or whatever. Just anything to get the blood flowing while you take a little break from whatever you're doing. You're free to adjust any of the advice I give you to your own strengths, right? So maybe you can't do push-ups, so you do stretches. Maybe you can't do stretches, so you just kind of lift your arms or swirl around or something. Just anything to get moving, right? We don't want to set a certain goal or compare ourselves to others. We just want to make sure that we keep improving. The point is that it doesn't matter where we are now. We just gotta keep going. Just keep making sure that one day we'll look back with a lot of pride. My idea of self-improvement really has a lot to do with the body, because I feel like a healthy body leads to a healthy mind. And I really feel like that you can't really be happy if your body is suffering. A lot of mental pain might just be your body not doing so well and thus affecting your mental. Like when a dog that's usually always happy gets all depressed and grumpy as soon as he gets like a stomach ache or something. We should really try to remember this through the tough times when we're not feeling too well mentally, that it might just be our body that isn't doing too well. It's not always so deep, you know. A great example of this is when you get something good to eat, or when you take a warm shower. It's like all the mental pain just kind of dims down, right? Well, I believe that if we treat our body right and our body is doing all right, then we have this power all the time to just dim down our anxieties and make the problem seem like less, so we can just keep working on ourselves. So on that note, here is my third tip. My third tip is just striving to do just a little bit better than yesterday. Like I said earlier, I think our main goal should be improving, and even if there are days where you can improve, then you just take as many days as you want to stay on schedule, and as soon as you're ready, you just start improving again. I believe that everything you can do to improve your life kind of requires a certain energy. I know what it's like to be stuck with quote-unquote zero energy, but trust me, you do have a little bit of energy. You're kind of underestimating yourself. Anyone can push through the first step, no matter how small it is. Doing tiny things that give you tiny victories will give you the energy to do just slightly bigger things that give you slightly bigger victories, and you just kind of build it up from there. Like money in real life, the more you have, the easier it is to make more. And we all just kind of deserve to be happy, so I really just hope this helps someone. Anyways, tip number 4, my friend. If you have access to varied food, then I really recommend just varying it a tiny bit if you can. It once again might seem like it doesn't really matter if it's such a tiny change, right? But if your body really is lacking nutrients, then just a little bit of greens or whatever can make a massive difference. You might not like the taste of greens and you might not like the taste of water, but healthy food is a taste that can be acquired. Believe me, in a world where we're all in perfect shape no matter what, I'd probably still choose the more healthy, varied food just because it's a richer eating experience. I wouldn't do that a couple of years ago, but now I've acquired this taste for just varied, beautifully made food. Bonus thing you can do is make sure you get your vitamins, right? And the reason why I include this is because once you have your vitamins, it's almost a zero effort thing to just pop a pill. That sounds like you're doing drugs, but to just pop a pill each morning and you're good to go. So yeah, tip number 5, the last thing I have written down for you guys. The last, but certainly probably the most important. Something I think is really worth your effort is making sure your body gets enough water. Now, I know you've heard this 1,000 times, but there's a reason why 1,000 billion trillion zillion people tell you this. It's because it's so incredibly important. Water is really plain and boring, and it can be such a chore to drink. But once you get used to it, you just kind of automatically drink, even when your throat just gets a little bit dry. And your body doesn't function correctly without water, and with less than optimal water, you'll have less than optimal body function. I think you can start a depression from just not drinking enough water. All these things might seem trivial, but compared to if you don't do any of them, then it's really important, and it'll make you feel so much better. I think that's gonna be it for today. I kind of wanted to make this video fast so people wouldn't get way too bored and just skip instantly. I really hope I reach just a few people with this video. My plan is that I might make another video in the future for the step above this one. That means the things you can do after you've achieved these things. And I hope when that time comes that if you feel ready, then you go and watch that video. Once again, I really hope this video reaches someone, and I really hope that someone like myself in the past sees this video, and it might just make the difference, because I hope you trust me enough to know that I'm serious when I say that these things are worth doing. Thanks for tuning in or watching or liking or whatever they say nowadays. So have a good one, guys. Farewell.